Scorpio, if you're watching this in September, listen to me very carefully. This man hasn't just been sitting in silence. He has been quietly executing dangerous, obsessive plans to get you back, and you have absolutely no f-king idea what's coming. He's not just returning to apologize. He's coming to completely flip the dynamic and claim what is his. But the twist? His grand master plan hinges on a secret he's been terrified to confess, one that will completely shatter the illusion you have about why he pulled away in the first place. Before we dive into this intense energy, tell me in the comments where you're watching from, and make sure you've liked and subscribed to claim this massive shift. Let's get into it. Scorpio, this September energy is incredibly potent, and honestly, Spirit is showing me this massive 888 angel number frequency right out of the gate. This is the energy of karmic completion, of cycles finally closing so that true abundance can rush in. And I need you to understand right now that the reason this massive shift is happening is because you changed the frequency first. You pulled back. You stopped chasing. You stopped trying to force a connection that was leaving you feeling depleted, and you finally chose yourself. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't easy. There were nights you wanted to reach out, nights you felt that familiar ache in your chest, but you held your boundary. And that specific act of detachment? That is what triggered his dangerous plans. Let's talk about the wound here, because I feel how heavy this has been for you. You were the one carrying the emotional weight of this entire connection. You gave real, profound, soul-level love, and in return, you were often left feeling misunderstood, undervalued, and completely taken for granted. You were pouring your water into a cup that had a hole in the bottom. You offered patience when he was inconsistent, you offered loyalty when he was distant, and you tried to be the safe space for someone who was running from his own shadows. You felt crazy for caring so much, didn't you? You questioned your own intuition, wondering if you were asking for too much just by wanting basic emotional reciprocity. But listen to me, your love was not the problem. Your depth was not a flaw. You were simply offering a premium energy to someone who was operating on a bankrupt emotional frequency and realizing that was your turning point. And this is where the shift happens, because he didn't fully understand the magnitude of what he had until you actually removed it. When you finally went silent, when you stopped initiating and stopped trying to bridge the gap, it hit him like a physical blow. At first, his ego tried to tell him you were just playing a game, that you'd come crawling back like you always did. But days turned into weeks, and the silence didn't break. That silence became a mirror, Scorpio. It forced him to sit in the absolute void of your absence. Without your energy regulating his, he had to face his own chaos. He realized that the distance wasn't protecting him, it was suffocating him. The emotional maturity he thought he had? It completely shattered when he realized he was the one who mishandled a rare, divine connection. He woke up to the fact that his fear and his ego were the only things standing between him and the peace you brought to his life. And while he's been sitting in that regret, looking at his own mess, look at what you've been doing. Your glow up right now is honestly intimidating, and I mean that in the most powerful way possible. You have stepped into that deep, mysterious, Pluto-backed Scorpio magic. You are more private now, more grounded, and incredibly radiant. You aren't broadcasting your pain anymore, you've alchemized it. Spirit is pulling the energy of the devil reversed for him right now, the illusions he was hiding behind, the toxic patterns, the fear of commitment. It's all burning up because he sees you embodying the High Priestess. You know things without being told. You feel his obsession, you feel his gaze, but you aren't reacting to it. You're just observing. That non-reaction is driving him absolutely wild. You've done the shadow work. You've healed the parts of yourself that accepted crumbs. And this new, elevated frequency? It's making him notice you more intensely than ever before. He can feel your energy shifting from miles away. It's intoxicating to him. He sees you living your life, glowing, unbothered, and it triggers this deep, obsessive realization that he is losing access to the most magnetic woman he has ever known. He's watching you, Scorpio. He's hyper-fixated on your every move, trying to figure out how to penetrate this new boundary you've built, completely unaware that his dangerous plans are about to bring him right to your doorstep. Spirit is pulling the moon and the tower cards for this connection right now, and honestly, the imagery is so vivid. The moon represents his hidden motives, those dangerous plans brewing in his subconscious. He's been operating in the dark, trying to figure out how to maneuver back into your life without looking weak or losing face. He's been mapping out scenarios in his head, rehearsing what he'll say, trying to control the narrative. But the tower energy? That's the sudden, unavoidable collapse of his defenses. You see, Scorpio, the universe doesn't allow a karmic connection of this magnitude to just fade into nothingness. There is a divine timing at play here, and his higher self is literally forcing his hand. He's experiencing a harsh spiritual awakening, a brutal mirroring of his own shadow work. He thought he could outrun the depth of what you two share, but the cosmos is cornering him, and his old tricks are no longer working. And don't think for a second he isn't watching you. I am getting such strong, undeniable vibes of the observer dynamic right now. He is hyper-aware of your energy. He's checking your socials, maybe even subtly asking mutual friends about you, trying to gather intel without directly reaching out and risking rejection. But here's the twist that's probably making his chest tight. He's completely intimidated. Your silence isn't being read as weakness or a game. It's being read as absolute, unshakable power. He's used to you being an open book, a safe harbor he could return to whenever his world got too loud or his ego got bruised. But now, you're a fortress, and that fascinates him. It triggers this deep, agonizing longing. He's sitting there, wrestling with his own inner conflict, desperately wanting to break the silence, but terrified that the bridge is already burned and that he's lost his privilege to your heart. But underneath that fear, there is a profound, echoing emptiness that he can no longer ignore or medicate away. Every distraction he tries to use to fill the void you left just highlights your absence even more. He's realizing that no one else makes him feel the way you do. No one else challenges him, sees right through his masks, or holds space for his true, unfiltered self the way you did. That's a heavy, humbling realization, Scorpio, and it's weighing on him heavily this September. He's starting to understand that your withdrawal wasn't a punishment. It was a necessary boundary for your own survival, and that truth hurts him more than any angry words ever could. Now, I have to be honest with you. Spirit is showing me some external interference that has been clouding this situation. There's been some noise around him. Maybe it's a third-party situation, maybe it's family drama, or perhaps just the toxic gossip of people who don't understand the profound depth of your soul bond. He might have used this external chaos as a convenient excuse to keep his distance, to hide behind his pride or his fear of true vulnerability. He let the opinions of others, or the complications of his own messy circumstances, dictate his actions and keep him paralyzed. But listen to me closely. That interference is actively weakening. The illusions are being exposed. The universe is stripping away the distractions and the fake loyalties that kept him from stepping up to the plate for you. And as those external walls crumble, he is left with nothing but the raw, unfiltered truth of his own heart. The gossip doesn't matter anymore. The distance doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the magnetic, undeniable pull between your souls. He's starting to see that these complications were just tests of his character, and frankly, he failed them by pulling away and letting you carry the burden alone. But the absolute beauty of a true Scorpio connection is that it's built for rebirth. This is Phoenix energy. It has to burn down to the ashes to be built back stronger, truer, and more authentic than it was before. He's comparing everyone else to you, Scorpio, and everyone else is falling painfully, embarrassingly short. He's replaying your conversations in his head, remembering the specific way you looked at him, the warmth you offered when he was at his lowest, the way you believed in him when he couldn't believe in himself. He knows, deep in his bones, that he mishandled this. He knows he took your fierce loyalty for granted and mistook your endless patience for an infinite supply. And that regret? It's actively transforming into action. Those dangerous plans I mentioned at the beginning, they aren't about manipulation or ego anymore. They're about desperate, calculated, deeply intentional moves to prove to you that he has changed, that he has done the work, and that he is finally ready to show up as the man you always knew he could be. Scorpio, I need you to really hear me on this next part, because the realization this man is having right now is bordering on obsessive, and it is completely dismantling his ego. He is out there in the world, going through his daily motions, interacting with other people, and honestly, it's making him feel incredibly hollow. Because every conversation feels shallow, every connection feels superficial, and every time he looks for that deep, soul-bearing intimacy, he hits a brick wall. He is actively comparing everyone else to you, and the devastating truth for him is that everyone else is falling painfully, embarrassingly short. No one challenges his intellect the way you do. No one matches his intensity. No one makes him feel like he doesn't have to wear a mask. But here is the painful emotional turn he is having to swallow this September. He knows, with absolute clarity, that he is the architect of his own misery. He knows he pushed away the only person who truly saw him, flaws and all, and loved him anyway. He realizes now that your patience wasn't a given, it was a gift, and he treated it like a cheap commodity. Spirit is showing me the King of Cups in reverse for him right now. He is drowning in his own unexpressed emotions, completely overwhelmed by the tidal wave of regret and longing he's been trying to suppress. He thought pulling away would give him control, but it only stripped him of his power. So, what exactly are these dangerous plans I keep sensing? Listen to me. This is not about him trying to manipulate you or play games. The danger here is actually about the sheer, unfiltered intensity of his surrender. He is planning a massive, strategic dismantling of his own pride. Spirit is pulling the Ace of Swords energy for his next move, which means he is preparing to cut through all the bullshit, all the silence, and all the excuses and deliver the absolute raw truth. He knows that a casual, "Hey, how have you been?" text will not work on a Scorpio. He knows you see right through breadcrumbs. So, he is plotting a way to come to you with a full, unapologetic confession. He's writing it out in his head, rehearsing the exact words, trying to figure out how to articulate the magnitude of his regret without sounding desperate. And this brings us to a really vulnerable shift in his energy. He is terrified. I'm not gonna lie, the thought of approaching you now, with all the boundaries you've built and the glow-up you've embodied, is intimidating the hell out of him. He's terrified that when he finally drops his armor and speaks his truth, you'll just look at him with cold indifference. That fear of your rejection is paralyzing him, keeping him hovering in the shadows, watching you, waiting for the right moment. But the universe is not giving him the luxury of waiting anymore. The external complications that he used as a shield, the distance, the fear of not being enough, the messy circumstances, the opinions of others, they are actively dissolving. The illusions are burning away, leaving him with nowhere to hide. He's experiencing intense spiritual pressure right now. The synchronicities are hitting him so hard he can't ignore them. He's seeing the mirror hours, he's hearing your name in songs, he's feeling your energy in his physical space when you aren't even there. The cosmos is literally cornering him, forcing him to step up or lose you to the timeline forever. And his higher self is screaming at him to choose you. The dangerous plan he is executing is essentially a spiritual surrender. He is preparing to hand you the sword, so to speak, and give you the power to strike him down or heal him, completely at your mercy. The next movement is coming, Scorpio, and it is going to be an undeniable, bridge-burning, ego-shattering communication. It won't be a subtle hint. It will be a direct, clear offer to bridge the gap and rebuild what was broken. He is going to lay all his cards on the table, confessing exactly why he pulled away, admitting his fears, and telling you, in no uncertain terms, that he wants to commit to the depth of this connection. He is done running. He is done hiding behind his pride. He is stepping into the arena completely exposed because he finally understands that a life without your fierce, loyal, transformative love is a life he simply does not want to live. Scorpio, the wait is almost over, and I need you to brace your heart for what is coming, because the universe is finally aligning the pieces for your ultimate vindication. This September is not just another month on the calendar, it is the catalyst, the tipping point where all that built up, unspoken tension finally breaks the surface. The communication you have been waiting for, the movement you have been sensing in the ether, it is imminent. And I want to be so clear with you, this is not going to be a casual, low-effort breadcrumb. He knows that a simple "hey, how have you been" text will not work on a Scorpio who has done the shadow work. He knows you see right through the superficial. So, the dangerous plan he is executing is a complete, unapologetic surrender of his pride. He is preparing to come to you with a profound, ego-shattering confession. When this movement happens, it is going to feel distinctly different from anything he has done before. Spirit is showing me the energy of the Ace of Swords combined with the Two of Cups. This means he is cutting through all the silence, all the excuses, and all the external noise to deliver the absolute, raw truth. He is going to lay all his cards on the table. He is going to articulate exactly why he pulled away, admitting his fears, his immaturity, and his deep, agonizing regret over mishandling your heart. This isn't an impulsive, late-night emotional dump. This is a calculated, deeply intentional bridge-building effort. He is bringing an actual offer to the table, whether that is a sincere, detailed apology, a clear invitation to reconnect, or a tangible commitment to show up differently this time. He is done running. He is stepping into the arena, completely exposed, because he finally understands that a life without your fierce, transformative love is a life he simply cannot endure. But here is the most crucial emotional turn, Scorpio, and I need you to lock this into your spirit. You are not waiting by the phone. You are not anxiously checking your notifications. You are the prize. When this energy finally breaks through, you will feel it in your gut before it even manifests in the physical realm. Your intuition has been sharpened to a razor's edge by this period of necessary silence. You have spent so long carrying the emotional labor of this connection, trying to decipher his mixed signals, but now the dynamic has completely flipped. You hold the keys. You hold the power. And it is completely 100% valid if your first instinct when he reaches out is to protect your heart. You have been burned by his inconsistency before, and your boundaries are there for a reason. Spirit is pulling the Justice card for you right now, and this is all about karmic balance. You are not being asked to instantly forgive and forget. You are not being asked to drop your standards just because he finally decided to show up. You are being asked to observe his actions from a place of absolute, sovereign power. Let him prove it. Let him do the work. Your silence now is not a game, it is a standard. You are requiring him to meet you at the elevated frequency you now reside in. If he truly wants this, he will respect your pace, he will honor your boundaries, and he will consistently show up to rebuild the trust he fractured. The ball is entirely in his court, and for the first time, he knows exactly how to play it. I want to take a moment to reassure you, deeply and profoundly, that this cycle is officially shifting in your favor. The universe has heard your silent prayers, the tears you cried in the dark, and the fierce, quiet dignity with which you chose yourself. That distance that once hurt you so deeply, it was actually divine protection. It was the universe keeping you safe, preserving your energy, and giving him the necessary space to face his own demons so that he could eventually meet you at your level. You didn't lose him, Scorpio. You outgrew the version of him that couldn't handle you. You alchemized your pain into power, and in doing so, you became the architect of your own destiny. The love you deserve is no longer something you have to chase or beg for. It is something that is now actively pursuing you. As we close out this reading, I want you to feel the weight lifting off your shoulders. You have carried this connection with such grace, even when it felt like you were carrying it alone. But that season is over. September is your month of reclamation. Step into your mysterious, magnetic, Pluto-backed power. Protect your peace fiercely. Do not let anyone, especially not him, disrupt the beautiful, grounded sanctuary you have built within yourself. Trust what you already feel intuitively, because your inner knowing has been right this entire time. If this message resonated with your soul and you felt that shift in energy, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and type "I claim my power" in the comments to anchor this beautiful September timeline. You are so deeply loved, so fiercely protected, and exactly where you need to be. Until next time, keep your crown straight and your heart guarded. I'll see you in the next one.